Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Farzy Show here at the Steven Singer Studios. Ben Simmons conversation today. Gut feeling on the Eagles for the rest of the season. And someone to help me with that gut feeling is my dear friend. When I say I love this man, I am not messing with you. I love this man. He's a great guy. I so enjoyed my time working with him in radio. And I have so much respect because he's a man for all seasons. Trey Thomas joins the show. First time appearance on the Farzy Show. It has been so hard to try to book him to come on here with all the things he's got going on with his coaching career at IMG Academy. He'll talk to us about that. He'll talk to us about getting inducted to the Eagles Hall of Fame coming up in just a couple of weeks. And he'll also talk to us about that little Bishop Sycamore thing that we heard about on the national stage with IMG and all that. So we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about this Eagles offensive line and his early impressions of Nick Sirianni, which leaves a lot to be desired, I think, is what Trey tells us. So we'll get into that conversation. Also, got some personal news that we'll get into at the end of that interview. So looking forward to that as well. I'm going to start off today just with the people that were holding out hope for the Philadelphia Phillies. For you beautiful, wonderful, adorable people, I was trying to warn, and this isn't me patting myself on the back. No. It's not me doing that. But I was trying to warn you that when it came down to it, and credit to a lot of people in the chat that were on board with this, that when it came down to it, they were not going to make the playoffs. Even when they were a game out of first place, they weren't going to do that. They weren't going to have that push. And now they're in a situation where they're 4 games in back of the Braves in the loss column. Which is bigger than the whole games back situation, big games back situation right now. And they lost last night 2-1 in a game that was just, quite frankly, dull for the Phillies offense. Zach Wheeler goes out there and pitches his heart out, basically. Third inning, gets into some trouble, allows 2 runs. But your offense in the first inning was kind of tipping their hand as to what the rest of the game was going to be. Runners on first and third, 1 out. JT Realmuto at the plate, strikes out. Brad Miller then comes up with 2 outs. Same situation, runner on first and third. Grounds out to second base. You had opportunities to get to Charlie Morton early. When you didn't get to Charlie Morton early, you tipped your hand. And to the people in the chat, I will give you 100% of the credit here for knowing better, for taking the last 10 years of Phillies baseball and saying, no. You ain't going to get me. I know what happens here. I've seen this play before. I know how it ends. A lot of the same characters, some different over the last 10 years, but really it just is the same result. You've changed the cast with the same story. That's basically what happened, and that is what's going to happen in this Braves series, unfortunately. 7:20 start time tonight. Aaron Nola gets the ball. The Phillies did have a little bit of life in their little air in their lungs last night when you had Matt Veering line over to left center field. Rosario was going over to try to make the play, goes off his mitt. Next thing you know, you got one run across the plate. You got a 2-1 game. You got runners at second and third with 2 outs, and they weren't able to get runs home. Freddie Galvis ends up striking out to end the ball game. So the people that were really holding out hope, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Now, speaking of ain't happening, we'll get into more of this football conversation when Trey joins the show. But I went back and I watched I didn't watch the full game, but I watched the extended highlights, if you want to call them that, of the Eagles Cowboys game Monday Night Football. And I'm watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is putting myself, even the 12 minutes that I'm going to sit here and watch this, it's putting myself in a situation to relive a lot of those awful moments from Monday night. And I want to start off by addressing some of the people that hit me up on social media for my quote where I said, I've never seen a coach ignore the run. And I know I explained it to this audience that watches the show and listens to the show. I have seen coaches abandon the run. Andy Reid, Doug Peterson, we've seen that. We've talked about that before. But I have not seen coaches ignore the run. Like it's not even a thing. Like Reid, Peterson, they'd run the ball in the beginning of the game. They hand the ball off. They run the ball at the beginning of the game. And then in the second half, get the hell away from it. No, we don't run the ball. What are you, crazy? Jeffrey Lurie doesn't even want us to run. We're not going to run the ball. So in watching this again, it was only reiterated to me and cemented in my brain further that I have never seen a coach just ignore that aspect of the game. 2 runs by Miles Sanders, and the first one worked, and you didn't see him the rest of the game. You saw Kenny Gainwell, he got one. You saw Miles Sanders did not get one. A couple of read option plays. That doesn't do it. And I understand that in today's NFL, that's a lot of the run, especially when you have an athletic quarterback like Jalen Hurts. But it shouldn't be. Like the old-fashioned ground and pound, I know, is for the most part very much dead in the NFL. But running the football is not dead in the NFL. If you have a quarterback, especially that is trying to earn his ranking in the NFL and earn his keep in the NFL, maybe every once in a while, help the guy out. And I was going back around the league, and I said, you know what, maybe I'm crazy. So I get done, and I watched some other highlights from around the league, and I said, let me look at some other young quarterbacks. I said, you know what, let me start out with that number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence. That guy that was not doing so well, and he's not doing so well. But let me just see how they're helping him out. Even Urban Meyer, for instance. Let's see how they're helping out Trevor Lawrence. And there was a drive in the third quarter that only went about, I think it was 5 plays, where they came out of halftime and they just ran the ball down the throats of the Cardinals. So much so that I believe it was like a 5 or 6 play drive. James Robinson, I believe, had 4 or 5 carries on this particular drive, ended up capping it off with a 4-yard touchdown run. And it was like, you know what? We're not gonna play the game of the NFL right now. We're just gonna run the ball down their throats. We're just gonna push the ball down their throats. And that's exactly what the Eagles should have done in some instances for Jalen Hurts. Give him that opportunity. So I was thinking about not so much ignoring the run, but then I was thinking about, again, the guys that have abandoned the run here. And the constants here are Howie Roseman, who we know has heavy influence, and Jeffrey Lurie, who we know from Zach Berman's piece from over the summer, and we know from Jeff McClain's piece from over the summer, that Jeffrey Lurie also has heavy influence on what's going on in the play calling category, in the game plan category. And when we go back to Doug Peterson being let go, one of the stories that came out of that was a game that the Eagles had won in Green Bay. The Eagles won the game. And according to these stories, according to these reports, Doug Peterson was being questioned as to why he didn't pass the ball more instead of running the ball when the running game was working against the Packers. And apparently Doug Peterson took this as, we won the damn game. We did what worked in the game. You know, like a player, a former player like Doug Peterson is, would probably do. Oh, what's working? Let's do that. Or he's ignoring it for whatever reason. He's abandoned it for whatever reason. He is just not wanting to do it for whatever reason. And a veteran like Lane Johnson has come up to him and said, let's run the ball again. Let's get back to that. So then I took it and I put it on Nick Sirianni's level, which is to say a non-player, someone who didn't play in the league, and someone who hasn't called plays in the league until now. And he's obviously a young head coach. It's his first head coaching job, obviously his first play calling job. And I'm thinking, is he thinking in the back of his mind, let me make sure I please my boss? Which anyone who's worked in that corporate world, anyone who's worked with a boss, for instance, knows that, yeah, you want to please the boss, especially if you're young and up and coming and you want to show that you can be a team player and the whole thing. Well, he goes out there and maybe he ran the ball a little too much. Maybe he, ignored it a little too much. Maybe at the behest of his owner, maybe at the behest of his general manager, maybe at the behest of whatever culture they like breeding into the game plan before they kick off on Sunday, or in this case, Monday night. Is this more a problem of Nick Sirianni trying to please his bosses of not running the football than it is really him even game planning and scheming and figuring out the flow of the game itself and when to help out your quarterback, when to help out your offensive line? Who, by the time this was all said and done, we're down 3 guys and now are down 3 guys. Brandon Brooks, we'll see when he gets back. You're obviously already down. Jordan Mailata, we'll see when he gets back. And now Isaac Seumalo is done for the season, as it was announced and reported yesterday. So at some point, you're going to have to cave to the run game. That's how you're going to survive your offensive line being banged up. Trey will tell us all about that coming up in a little bit. So I look forward to catching up with him as far as that goes. It is some wild stuff. Like, it was so egregious, the game plan. I'm left looking outside the box for reasons as to why it actually happened. Because it's funny. Nick Sirianni has more coaching experience right now at the NFL level than Doug Peterson did when he took over. I mean, we were all making jokes about Doug Peterson coached in high school before he was the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs and a quarterbacks coach with the Eagles. And I believe a quarterbacks coach also with the Chiefs before he was offensive coordinator. So Nick Sirianni, who had like 16 years, Doug Peterson, not so much. Doug Peterson playing experience, certainly. More NFL experience, absolutely. But coaching experience, not so much. So we'll get Trey's take on that in a second. Now, yesterday, I did promise you that, let me just wrap this up with the Eagles. Sorry. I know sometimes I joke about it, and I say this phrase, but I really mean it with the Eagles, with this 2021 Eagles season. I feel like this Eagles team is doomed. Like, that's my gut feeling after 3 games. It's not fire the head coach. It's not, definitely Jalen Hurts is out, new quarterback in at the end of this year, or bench Jalen Hurts right now. Let's see what Gardner Minshew can do. It's not that. It's not hot takey in that regard. I just have this gut feeling. That was such a porous, awful, horrendous, gut-wrenching game to watch. Like, it was just uncomfortable throughout. I have very little hope for how the rest of the season, if that's how bad it could be, and God forbid that's rock bottom, and coming up with games against, you got the Chiefs coming up, obviously, coming up with all these games, I can't help but think that we're in for a very, very, very long season. And I feel like I had a lot of optimism starting this year. I was thinking 8, 9 wins, depending on how Jalen Hurts plays as a quarterback. Maybe you get into double digits, right? Maybe you start flirting with a wild card. You start flirting with the postseason. I just feel like it's going to be a constant banging your head against the wall type of season. I believe Nick Sirianni's addressing the media today, so hopefully we'll get some more answers on what the heck did happen. But watching that game last night, again, watching the extended highlights of it, I just thought to myself, is this like there was multiple situations where it's like, just run the ball. Your offensive line is gassed. Maybe the play after you saw Landon Dickerson give up a sack to Jalen Hurts, maybe that's or on Jalen Hurts, maybe that's where you go, let's hand the ball off here. Just make sure my quarterback doesn't get hit on this particular play. Take some pressure off of him. That's just watching it again yesterday. But probably right back to it. And I did it for analytical reasons, to analyze the game another step. But really, it was just the most glaring, obvious problem that you had in the game was how bad the game planning was, how bad the run to pass. I mean, it wasn't even a run to pass ratio. At least we're talking about that in other games with Reed and Peterson. It was just like, why did you even bring up a ratio when you did it 2 times? Like, that's all you need. That's all you need to know. 3 runs by running backs. Anyway, so yeah, I feel terrible about the Eagles the rest of the year. Yesterday, I had talked about how I was going to get into the Sixers media day today, meeting on this fine Wednesday morning. And I was watching all the clips of Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey, and I was watching all the behind-the-scenes stuff, too, of how much fun these guys were having and all that. But the big glaring thing here with the Sixers is obviously Ben Simmons. And I've moved past the Ben Simmons stuff. Today will be one of the last days that we really harp on this subject. And until the new piece comes out, like yesterday, I was hoping, all right, I'll review just the stuff with the Sixers and what they did at Media Day, and I'll go over the Joel Embiid quotes and all that. But what I won't do is really focus on it focus on it much from that point on, because we all understand what's going on. They're waiting for a trade. And if a trade does come up, then we'll discuss the trade. But we all know what Ben Simmons is. We all know what the team thinks of him right now. They want him back, which is fine. But it's not going to happen. And I honestly believe it's at a point where Ben Simmons is just going to dig in and never play for the Sixers again. Now, I was the one holding out that point. I think yesterday I said 0.1% that he actually comes back and plays a little bit. Now, that's all dead in the water now. That's over. So watching Ben Simmons now and watching how this whole situation is playing out, and looking at the report that came out yesterday from Sam Amick, I believe, who put the story out there saying that Ben Simmons is done playing with Joel Embiid, not for personal reasons, but because Joel Embiid, his playing style is not conducive to Ben Simmons' playing style. This is a breaking news story. I saw Derek Bodner put it out yesterday, a quote from Doc Rivers saying, this is basketball, so this isn't earth-shattering. And I thought to myself, Well, Doc, you're the one to talk about how great these two are when they play together and how great their record is when they play together. It's really astounding. They're incredible together. But the breaking news out of all of this is, hey, next team that Ben Simmons plays for, he ain't changing jack. If he can't play with a center like Joel Embiid because Joel Embiid is around the basket, that then means anybody on your team better vacate the premises when it comes to the paint, because Ben Simmons isn't developing that jump shot. He's probably not going to be getting better at foul shots. He's certainly not going to be shooting threes. You're getting the same great offensive player in the regular season and the same dud of an offensive player in the postseason. Good luck to you. Whoever Ben Simmons plays for next, congratulations. You're getting the same guy that only cares about how he plays as opposed to how a team wins. So, hey, Ben, it's not your job to fix your trade value, but it would be nice if you didn't hurt it. That would make it easier to trade. Any team listening to that report and buying into it, because I do believe it's true. I think all these factors go into Ben Simmons wanting to leave. But anyone listening to that, like, if that doesn't dawn on you as, oh, so you're not going to change. Cool. You're going to have so the only way you can be an offensive threat scoring wise is if the paint is completely vacated. Good to know. So nothing's changing. You're not developing that outside game. We're just going to have to continue to accept you for, the great defensive player that you are, and the guy that can get rebounds, and the guy can facilitate and all that, but you're still not going to take that next step in the NBA. Okay. All right. Get him out of here. Get him out of here as fast as possible, as long as you get good value. But get him out of here. I just can't take it anymore. Speaking of can't take it anymore, Joel Embiid addressed the media probably about 15 minutes on media day, and he was great. He was funny, and he was insightful, and talked about his goals for the season, but did talk a lot. And because he was asked about it, he was asked about Ben Simmons. He did confirm that he and a couple teammates, Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle, were going to go out and talk to Ben Simmons. They're going to meet up with him in Los Angeles. He did say, that was the plan, basically, but didn't want to do that. And he was also asked by my good friend Amy Fadul about Ben Simmons and what he said after they lost to the Hawks in Game 7. If that was anything that you think, or that Joel Embiid thinks, is sticking with Ben Simmons and staying in his mind. And here's how Joel Embiid answered that question.
What did I actually say? I don't think I said anything. I was asked a question, what was the turning point of the game? And, I really believe that, it was a turning point of the game. If there's anybody that should be mad, is me freaking calling Matisse out for missing a freaking free throw. But we all talk about it, we all joke about it. We know we got to be better. So I don't have any regrets, because I didn't call out anybody. I just stated the facts. I'm honest. I can't lie, and that's just me. So I don't have any regrets, because I don't feel like I put anybody in a situation where
where they were uncomfortable or thrown under the bus. The person that he did say was Matisse Thybulle, was the guy that he felt bad about mentioning because he missed a free throw. There were some other things that he came out and said flat out, that he was disappointed if he was going to sit across from Ben Simmons, what was he going to say? And he was going to say that I'm disappointed. He went on with his long answer, and to paraphrase it, it wasn't disappointed just in Ben. It was disappointed. And this is what he even said to the media. He goes, don't just put out disappointed, because people will read that wrong. And I'm going to explain the full thing. It wasn't just in Ben Simmons that he was disappointed in. It was disappointed in the whole process. The fact that he was drafted, sat out 2 years. They later get Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons doesn't really mature fully into the player that he was supposed to be here in Philadelphia. And now he's quitting. Now he's out. And this whole thing was supposed to be centered around, and Joel Embiid even said this whole thing was supposed to be centered around Joe and Ben. And now Ben's leaving. So now what's the next step? Tyrese Maxey steps up and hopefully becomes an all-star point guard? Cross our fingers for that. Love the guy. Hope that happens. Doc Rivers talked about how much Tyrese Maxey likes to work in the offseason, so hopefully that bears fruit during the regular season. He also talked about what he was asked, and I said this yesterday, when Joel Embiid was asked about what he would like to see for Ben Simmons if he was to come back, and Joel Embiid said, well, we've all seen the videos. Yeah. that we've all seen the videos. That was the moment that Joel Embiid just threw his hands up in the air pretty much. It was just like, this ain't happening, so I'm going to say whatever the hell I damn well please. Tobias Harris touched on it. Pretty much Danny Green touched on it, and Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey. One thing that I did think was interesting, when Daryl Morey was asked about when Doc Rivers was being asked about Ben Simmons and whether or not Ben Simmons was offended by Doc's comments about how he can't win with Ben as a point guard, Daryl Morey acted like that wasn't even a thing. Daryl Morey did this like shock. He had this shocked look on his face about how Doc Rivers didn't even offend Ben Simmons at all. And I thought that was interesting, just reading the body language and the facial expression from Daryl Morey on that particular question. And yes, Doc is still very much in denial about what he said and how he said it. In his mind, saying he didn't know the answer to that, he didn't know it, he didn't know that question. In his mind, that was just blowing off a reporter as opposed to actually answering a question. Not how it came off. Not how it came off even a little bit, but that's the route Doc's taken. That's the route he's taken. We do have a very, very special guest today, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll say it again. I love this man. I so enjoyed working next to him for the 2 years that we were on the radio together. He's just a great guy. He is one of the most interesting people I have ever met in my entire life. You can talk to this guy about anything for a couple of reasons. One, you can talk to him about it because he knows about it. And the other, if he doesn't know about it, he's the most curious guy you could ever come across that wants to learn about whatever it is the hell you're talking about. Whether that be painting, he'll get into it. He knows about painting. Whether that be European travel, he'll ask you all the questions in the world and tell you about his own experiences. He is just a fascinating individual. I admired him as a player, as a fan of the Eagles, and I so enjoy him as a friend and a very important person in my own life. Before we get to Trey, I do want to tell you about another friend of mine, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Do what I do for all your big jewelry purchases. For all your jewelry purchases, go to the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia, and make sure you get every single time the perfect price at Steven Singer Jewelers. A real jewelry expert will walk you through everything after you use their appointment scheduler on IHateStevenSinger.com. You go in and they show you the inventory. You tell them what you're looking for. If you give them some idea, they can help you with everything. Looking to get engaged? They got Ready for Love diamond engagement rings standing by at the ready. And they also have, like I said, the perfect price every single day. You don't have to worry about a discount. You don't have to worry about a promo code, a coupon, or anything like that. No. Every day, things are set at the perfect price so that when you walk in, you don't got to worry about negotiating or haggling. It's not marked up just to mark it down in front of you and make you feel like you're getting some kind of deal. The deal is already there for the taking at Steven Singer Jewelers. IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, my good friend, Trey Thomas. And joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, my friend, my brother, my former partner, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, future Eagles Hall of Famer, as far as I'm damn concerned, future Hall of Famer of the National Football League, Mr. Trey Thomas. Trey, how are you, brother?
Man, I'm fantastic, man. Just, living the dream right now, man. Down here in IMG, man, just getting to sit up here and do all of this all the time with a pen, helping mold the future of this game.
There you go. You're like the Bob Ross of football minds. That's what you're doing.
Exactly.
So when we just linked up here, I saw all that behind you, and I'm like, that's Trey's heaven right there. Like you were a X's and O's guy that knew how to speak to the audience, still knows how to speak to the audience of today's football fan, where you know how to break things down for the person that played in the NFL like yourself or someone that just enjoyed watching football. And here you are doing it to the IMG Academy, all the students down there, the student athletes, and you guys are just doing nothing but kicking ass as far as I see.
Oh, yeah. That's all we're doing down here is just kicking ass, man. I mean, I really have an awesome group of guys. Coming down here, George Hegerman is the director down here who played for the Eagles my rookie year. Actually got married at his house. So, he reached out to me. And he was like, hey, man, do you want to get back into coaching? I was like, yeah. So he was like, well, the offensive line position came up, come on down. And, man, I got down here and I started working with some of these guys. I had 2 guys quit, because I'm a different type of coach. You know, I hold everybody to the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's I know that it can be brutal at times, but you know, the guys that stuck with me, man, I mean, they are just amazing athletes. I mean, you know, right now, Tyler Booker, my left tackle, he's going to Alabama. My center, Dylan Lopez, is going to Oregon State. My other guard is going to, I think, ECU, East Carolina. My right tackle is going to Florida State. My left guard is going to probably be the number one guard in the nation next year. And then I have my right tackle just started with me in training camp. He's right now one of the top tackles in high school right now, man. So, I mean, you know, I got a really good group of guys, man, that's just really out here just kicking ass, man.
I could not be happier for it. And just real quick, before we get to the Eagles stuff, I just want to clear. So none of those guys are going to be available maybe by week 4 for the Eagles? None of them will be available Sunday?
No, none of them will be ready. I mean, you know
Okay.
what, man? I don't know, man. These cats, man, I think, you know, my guys are really, really good, man. I think that, you know, the way I train them and the stuff that you go back and you look at our film, what you see us doing is what you'll see on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. You know, like I don't teach that high school turn protection and all that. No, we get out here. I teach them how to block man protection. They understand how to change protection, how to change the slide. I mean, you know, they right now are playing at extremely high level.
Well, that's awesome, man. I couldn't be happier for it. I know that you are in your own football heaven being able to do that. And when I saw all the stuff behind you, I was like, yeah, this is where my man's supposed to be. This is where my man's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But before we start talking more about the Eagles, just I know we texted and all that, but just from so sincere, so happy for you. Eagles Hall of Fame, you and John Running, the guy that played on the other side of the line of scrimmage during the Reed McNabb heyday and all that. Congratulations on that. What did that mean to you to know that you're going to be inducted in the Eagles Hall of Fame?
I mean, that's everything, man. You know what I'm saying? To be remembered and to be on, you know, to get that type of notoriety and just to get that call from Jeffrey to say, hey, man, Mr. Lurie, to say, hey, you know what, you're going to get inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame. I mean, you put in that, you know, all of that work, and to finally be recognized by the organization that you played with just means the world to me. I mean, you know, that means a lot. And my wife and I, my mom, super excited about it, and we're all looking forward to coming up and hanging out.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to watch it. I really can't wait to watch it. So happy for you. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, overdue, but I'm not going to harp on that. Not going to harp on that. I'm just happy.
You know, because I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming at some point. I was just like, man, let me smell my roses before I get old. You know, I don't want to be out there, coming out there, hobbling out there with a walker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let me smell my roses while I can walk out there with my back straight.
It's like the person that waits till they turn 90 to travel the world. Like, you're not going to enjoy it that much. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I do have to say, when I was working down here and I had the TV on and everything, and I heard IMG and I went, what? And it was the Bishop Sycamore story. Like, what were those guys were like, from what I read, they were like 50 years old playing football. They were like out of prison or something like that. It seemed incredible. And I was like happy to watch IMG because of you, obviously. And then I was like, well, wait, hold on. What was that, a school? Was that not a school? What the hell was that?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. And I'm like, look, you know, I get every week, I'm a week-to-week guy. I never know who we're going to play next week, whatever. I'm always, all right, who do we have this week? So after we get through a game, I go click on my computer. All right, here's the next team up here. I'm going to game plan. I don't even look up the team. I don't look up their players. I don't care. What I'm doing, I'm game planning to whoop your ass. That's all I'm doing. It can be the school of the deaf and blind. I'm going to put together a game plan to go whoop your ass. I don't care. That's what I'm there to do. That's what they pay me to do. I don't care what your roster looks like. I don't care don't care. I'm coming to whoop ass. And that's all I game plan to do. Now, once all the story came out and all that, I'm like, well, it made me feel even better that we went out there and whooped their ass. Now, who's next? That's all we moving on to.
I miss you so damn much.
I miss you too, man. It was so much fun doing radio. It's so awesome. You guys made it such a good experience.
Good. I'm so glad, man. I had a blast. When they told me that you and I are going to be working together, I was like, well, that's good, because what I hear about Trey is the man, he's not just resting on a great career. He wants to do the next thing. And you always wanted the work. You were never like the lazy athlete that was like, oh, no, I already had my career. This is just bonus. Like, you wanted to be great. And I am so beyond proud of what we were able to do on that show in the little over a year and a half, almost 2 years that we were able to do that show together. And look, I had never hosted my own show before. I had never even had my own show. Yet our old boss, Eric Johnson, said, hey, you know what? This is going to be yours. It's going to be you and Trey. Have at it. And I was like, all right, man, let's party. So I'm proud of what we did there, brother.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It didn't even feel like work. It was just awesome. Really good experience.
Yeah, your attitude was just awesome, and your talent obviously speaks for itself, my friend. Hey, speaking of talent, this Eagles team has me a little worried, my friend. It has me a little worried. Nick Sirianni has me a little bit more concerned about his coaching abilities than necessarily Jalen Hurts' quarterbacking abilities, and the offensive line is banged up right now. I know you watched the Eagles Cowboys Monday night. I know you saw some subs go in there on the offensive line. What did you make of the Monday night massacre at the hands of the Cowboys?
Well, I think it all started with the damn shirt. How do you wear something like that? How do you give that type of bulletin board material? You had the same thing happen last year when Doug Peterson said, hey, we're going to go out to Dallas and go whoop their ass. What happened? You gave them that material. So you're going to go and put on this T-shirt. Hey, man, we're going to whoop Dallas. I ain't going to hide from it. All right. Okay, you don't think they're going to put that picture up and put that in? Everybody walks along the highway, and that picture is in everybody's locker. Even they asked Ezekiel Elliott, hey, man, what do you feel about with the coach wearing that type of shirt? And he's like, hey, I'm not running from it. All right, okay. So now, hey, the rubber's going to meet the road. And, like, to me, I think that sometimes, man, you try to play into the fans a little too much, man. And it's like, look, dude, you need to be about your business right now, because all of that is cute for a little bit. But then when you go out there and you get your ass kicked, that starts to wear off a little bit. All the little cute little stuff that was like everybody like, oh, yeah. And, fans, they get all tied into it. They're like, oh, Eagles by 100. Oh, look at this shirt. All right. Okay, you're dealing with grown men out there that have a lot of pride. That's like, no, we're not trying to see that. And you giving them that type of material, and then you go out there and lay an egg. All right, man, be about your business.
Mm-hmm. If you were, obviously, let's say it's your later years with the Eagles, a new head coach comes in, what would your reaction be to the Brandon Graham T-shirts, the Miles Sanders T-shirts, the Jason Kelsey T-shirts, and then obviously the Beat Dallas T-shirt?
I don't like it. I think it's too cute. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm from the old school. I'm from like Big Red. Big Red wasn't trying to hear all that. Like, hey, man, don't give the other team anything that they can use. You don't want to give the team bulletin board material. People think that that's not real. It is real. And guys have a lot of pride. You don't give cats all of that. Like, everybody know I'm coming to whoop ass. That's all I'm coming to do. I don't need to say it. I don't need to go and broadcast it out to everybody. Go wear a damn T-shirt. What a T-shirt gonna do? What does that do? That T-shirt is not going to get in the three-point stands and go knock somebody off the ball. That is not happening. And then you kind of set yourself up. You kind of create a little energy. Now, if you got the dogs behind you that can go out there and answer that call, all right, but you don't right now.
Speaking of not having those guys, Landon Dickerson, his first NFL start. You had Andre Dillard starting at left tackle for you again, with Jordan Mailata being out. And then by the time the game ended, Isaac Seumalo was out, now done for the season. Nate Herbig is your left guard. What are you going to do with this offensive line?
I mean, it's the same thing. Like, once you saw Brandon Brooks go down, I knew that the dominoes were going to continue to fall. That's one of the things that's just continued to happen with this team. It usually starts, and I hate to say it, though, it usually starts with a Brandon Brooks injury. You know what I'm saying? Like, something happens, and then, other pieces of that puzzle just continue to fall out, and it's just a tough situation. Here we are, where, you have Jordan Mailata goes down on a damn knee injury from practice. And I'm like, man, put on some knee braces. I mean, it's not that hard. And you see guys all throughout the league running around there with no damn knee braces on. And it's like, man, come on, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to happen at some point. It's just going to happen. Somebody's going to roll up on you, and here you are. You're missing the game because somebody rolled up on you in practice. Now you got Andre Dillard has to get out there. I mean, Isaac thing goes down with a foot injury. That's something that's just unfortunate. Injuries are going to happen, but that's just how things roll around here, man. It's a very physical game. It's a violent game. Injuries are going to happen, but it just always starts with, sometimes it's that Brandon Brooks injury, and then now other pieces of that puzzle just start falling off, especially with the offensive line.
When you talk about the T-shirts, that's one thing with Nick Sirianni, but to talk about his coaching style and play calls, I mean, some people came at me on social media yesterday because I said I've never seen a head coach ignore the run like Nick Sirianni did Monday night. And they said, what about Andy Reid? And I said, no. Andy Reid, Doug Peterson abandoned the run, like meaning at one point they were with the run, but they got away from it. Sirianni was never with it. When I was watching that game, I couldn't believe it. I did harken back in my mind to Reid and to Peterson not running the football as an offensive line. I know Lane Johnson has been a guy to say something to Doug Peterson in years past, like, hey, we got to run the football. What were you thinking when you looked up after the first half and you said, Miles Sanders has 2 carries? 2 carries? Yeah. They had 18 plays. 2 of them were handoffs to Miles Sanders. That's it. And then in the second half, forget about it. This was the lowest amount of runs by percentage in 15 years in the NFL. One of the four lowest in the last 15 years in the NFL. What did you make of Nick Sirianni's game plan or lack thereof against Dallas?
I felt like you really put when watching the game, I'm like, wow, he really is trying to put a lot on Hurts right now, to just say, all right, go out there and win the game with your arm. Do you not trust what your offensive line can do? When it comes to run game, I mean, when you came out there and you go back and you watch the Atlanta game, I mean, they really got it off. They got the ball moving with a lot of inside zone runs. Very simple concept, because you go back and you look at what Dallas did. They went out there and smashed them with just inside zone runs. So why not do the same with your team? You're putting your team in a situation where you got Andre Dillard out there. This is his first time coming back with all the questions that's going on with him. You got Dickerson over there at right guard, that's a little different. It's his first start. Why get out there and put him in a situation where you're passing the ball all the time? Let them come off. Let them run the ball, create some movement. Get some positive movement instead of trying to always put the ball in the quarterback's hands.
Right. A couple of takeaways that I have from working with you was everyone should be wearing knee braces on the offensive line, which is something you always said. You always talked about TEs and ETs. That's right there. And who's the looper and the whole thing. Then because you were not a mortal, you were someone who was immortal. You're not a mere mortal like myself. You liked pass blocking more than run blocking.
Yes.
But when it comes to guys like Landon Dickerson, Andre Dillard, and then also Nate Herbig, if those guys are in, don't you think that they rather establish some type of rhythm by maybe doing a little run blocking throughout the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Because everything can be built off of it. If you can go out there and you create movement off the run, then now you get a couple run, play action. That's all Dallas was doing. Give them that same type of game plan. Inside zone. Very, very simple concept. And I think that the broadcast team did a really good job of explaining it when they came out there and did the X's and O's and was showing, hey, man, all it is you're creating combination blocks, working up to the linebackers. And every time, even when I'm designing runs and I'm drawing all this stuff up, my whole thing is I want to get the running back to the safety. If I get the running back to the safety clean, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, and it's going to be a problem for a very long time. So, I think that they just did not try to establish the run game, but not when you only have 3 rushes, and then you're trying to put a lot on a second-year guy. I mean, Jalen Hurts, I love him as a person. I think that he's extremely smart. I mean, like I tweeted something out earlier, like anytime you read a quote from him, it's like reading the back of a Snapple cap. You always walk away with a nugget. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like he is full of one-liners. I mean, it's amazing, The whole, when you take a deuce, you don't sit there and look at it, you flush it. I'm like, wow, that is so damn profound.
Regular Bill Shakespeare. Rather, you know what? And I'm sure you like this as well. During the game, there was a Bob Ross reference when the Cowboys were going to run a draw. I believe it was Brian Greasy who said, "Oh, you know what? They like to draw. Bob Ross likes to paint, so I bet you this is a draw. Draw up the middle, right there, just like that.
There, right up the middle. There you go.
So how? Look, I know that you're with your family in Florida. By the way, IMG is not in the muck, is it? That's not in the muck, is it?
No. The muck is more on the east coast of Florida. The muck is like a little bit before Fort Lauderdale in the sugarcane fields. That's where it is. Bradenton is down near Tampa, Clearwater. Okay. It's more on the west coast.
Okay. So just real quick, any? Do you want to coach in the NFL one day? I know you're happy down there, but do you want to get to the NFL eventually?
Oh, absolutely. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm just enjoying my time, man. I'm really enjoying molding the future of the game with some of these kids, man, and just helping them. Oh, listen to her.
Get her in. No, here we go. I got it. I was doing this. I'm doing this just for you, my friend. I'm doing this just for you because, well, you deserve it. And I haven't even told my audience something yet. Come here, you. Oh, hi, sweetheart.
Oh, look at that.
Look, there she. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
And
little mama.
there we go.
Show the back.
She's got the little Toots jersey that you got her on.
Toots, yeah, little Toots.
And we haven't told my audience. I wanted to wait to talk to you, my friend. We're having our second kid.
You having your second one? Wow,
Yeah.
congratulations. Someone
Thank you.
hasn't been social distancing.
We're expecting a little boy in January.
Hey, congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Hello.
And William Trey Thomas Farzetta is not off the table.
Hello.
There we go.
That
Yeah,
is so
sweetheart, you
cool.
take that. Yeah. Thank you.
Little Toots, man. It's so good
Say
to
hi.
see you
Can you
guys.
wave? Can you wave? Can you do a little wave? There we go. All right, sweetheart. Love you so much. All right, say bye, Uncle Trey.
Bye,
You say
Uncle Trey.
Yeah, all right, see you
She
later.
doesn't want to let go.
She does not want to let go of the microphone. She's just like her dad, fighting over the microphone. Anyway, brother.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have you in the NFL coaching by Sunday. Maybe we can do that.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see how it plays out, man. I'm just enjoying my time right now.
It's been so great to catch up with you. Seriously, I'm just so happy for you that I know you're in your football heaven right now, being able to mold young minds and coach them up. And I know there's going to be one NFL team very lucky to have you in the not too distant future, my friend. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, brother.
All right, Nick, give my best
Congratulations again.
Thank you, my friend. My best to the missus, my best to the boys, continued success at IMG, and just whoever shows up next, I just feel bad for them because you're there to whoop their ass, and you're gonna, because that's what you do.
That's it. That's it. Somebody say, hey, man, why y'all do that to them kids? I gave him Michael Jordan emoji. What you mean?
His name is Trey Thomas. We can call him Trey because Philadelphia is family. Trey, thanks so much, man. Continued success down there. We'll catch up again soon.
All right, my brother. Take care. Have a good one.
Hold it. She's coming back. All right. Say bye-bye.
All right, little Toots. Bye-bye.
See you, brother.
All right, bro. Take care.
See you. Oh my God, I love talking to that guy. And yes, we are having our second kid. Trey is also a very emotional man. He's a very emotional man, so I knew he would get a kick out of me telling him that and it being the first time I mentioned it on the show. The only thing is, do me a favor, don't tell Amy Fadul. Amy's a good friend of mine. I just haven't gotten a chance to connect with her yet. She'll be so upset if I didn't tell her yet. So I'll probably after the show today reach out to Amy and be like, hey, guess what? We're expecting. But no, she I knew Trey would really enjoy that. And I love the guy. So and he did. We were texting after the show and all that. And or after we taped last night, rather. But yeah, how about that? We're having our second kid. We're expecting in late January. It's I like to say we're having a man. Obviously, we have little Toots, little girl, Emanuela May, and she just turned 2 and just had her first day of school. I was telling you guys about it a couple of weeks ago. She's doing better now. She's doing better. First day was very rough. First couple of weeks were actually very rough, but now she's doing a lot better. But yeah, we're expecting a man in late January. I'm just assuming probably a 40-year-old guy come out smoking cigars. Hey, Dad, you want a cigar? That way I have somebody could drive me around. I think that'd be nice. But no, we're expecting a little boy, and we're just beyond thrilled as you can imagine. So yeah, there you go. That's the news. And I figured it would be good to have Trey on to break that news to you guys. And I see the comments already. Really, thank you so much already. It's we're really stoked. And that was my wife's first appearance on the show. Huh? How about Toots? Not just little Toots. How about Toots herself? Made an appearance on the show, all pregnant and whatnot. So yeah, we're just thrilled. We're just beyond thrilled. I'm so stoked. People are like, "Oh, did your second kid? Did you want a boy?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like, yes, I want a healthy child and beautiful baby and the whole thing. But my last name is Farzetta. If you know a Farzetta, that's my relative. That's my cousin. That's my aunt, my uncle, whoever. That's my family. There's not a lot of Farzettas on the planet, right? So I have to put in work, and I got to make sure that I do my part. My brother, he's got 2 boys. I need a boy as well. Now, I was trying to tell Emanuela, little Toots, even though she's 2, I was like, look, when you get older, and if you want kids, that kid's middle name is at least going to be Farzetta. That's the deal. But anyway, yeah, we're just beyond thrilled. I can't say it enough. And just so great to catch up with Trey. Trey really is great at breaking it down for someone that played in the league and then somebody that has no idea, like someone that's just being thrown in the football for the first time. And one of the things I always appreciate about a conversation with Trey Thomas is that I feel like I'm learning. There's not often where I can sit down and have a conversation and talk to somebody who's even a professional athlete and go, oh, how about that? Like with Hugh, and one of the reasons we have Hugh on every week is because Hugh is so good at that same teaching thing. Not as quite X's and O's, but definitely more on the emotion side and breaking down how it feels from an athlete's perspective or what an athlete would be thinking in that regard. Because even Hugh will tell you, he just had to get after the quarterback. It wasn't his job to stop the run. But I feel like I learn a lot from Hugh in so many aspects of the game, and I feel like I learn a lot from Trey when I have a conversation with him, more in the X's and O's category when it comes to an offensive line and how they're supposed to attack a defensive line. So it's just fascinating every time I get a chance to talk to that guy. And like I said, there's like the most random thing that you could ever pick up from him. Like he'll tell you a story about how he used to carry this big leather satchel. That was his work bag, this big leather satchel. It looked like he was carrying a barrel is what it looked like. And it was beautiful. It was like this beautiful, like tan leather craftsmanship, whatever. And he bought it in Sicily at Todd Harriman's wedding. And he bought it from, he said, I bought it from the store, the guy that owned the store and the guy that would actually make these bags. And I said, how much is that bag? And the guy goes, I forgot the guy's name. So I just named him Geppetto. I was like, yeah, Geppetto. And he goes, yeah, Geppetto. Geppetto, how much is that bag? And Geppetto goes, it's not for sale. And that's what the guy in Sicily said. And Trey goes, no. How much do you want for it? And then Geppetto was like, and sold him his own bag. And that was his work bag. He probably had it right at his feet at the time he was doing the interview last night. But also, how about this? The bulletin board material. And here's one of the things I've gathered from ex-athletes and even current athletes when they talk about bulletin board material. And a lot of people in the media, a lot of people outside professional sports tend to say bulletin board material isn't real. That's a lie. Bulletin board material is very much real. And I always go back to the fact that the dog masks and the underdog mentality helped the Eagles win a Super Bowl because they were doubted. Nobody believed in us, that whole thing. That matters. And what I gather from talking to professional athletes is you don't want to give. Here's what bulletin board material is. You don't want to give another team, you don't want to give an opponent a reason to focus. One of the things that can help you out when you're taking on an opponent is that opponent losing focus because something is mundane. Like for whatever reason, they can lose focus. Bulletin board material helps a team focus. And if you watch the Dallas Cowboys play against Philadelphia Eagles Monday night, that team looked pretty focused. And what I have gathered from all the athletes I've spoken to about bulletin board material is you don't want to give them a reason to zero in on you. You want to be kind of lost in the minutia of a season. That doesn't happen in this particular game. So, and you would think, it's rivalry. It's rivalry. There's rivalry. Monday Night Football. They're focused already. Yeah, you know what? The other team's going through that. Don't want to give the other team any other edge than they already have or already would get from a Monday Night Football game or a rivalry or anything like that. Because guess what? They played in Monday night before. They've certainly played the Eagles before. Why give them the extra edge? I mean, you even heard it during the stat that they put out on the broadcast the other night. This was the 27th time the Eagles and Cowboys matched up on a primetime game. That's tied for the most appearances by two teams in prime time. That's pretty amazing. 27 times. Now, I know the vast majority of it had been Eagles-Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I know because I was there a lot. But this particular instance of this rivalry as being the most like primetime game ever, tied for the most with 27 appearances in this matchup, that's pretty special. That's how you know it's special. No need to give any extra edge to any other team. And Trey to take that opinion on the bulletin board material of the Beat Dallas shirt was not unexpected. Was not unexpected. And also, what the hell, man? Run the damn ball. That's like, That many injuries on the offensive line. Pass. That many injuries in the offensive line. Young quarterback making his 7th career start on the road. Monday Night Football. Pass. Just beyond dumb. I'm glad Trey agrees with that. Thanks to Trey for joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Speaking of Rothman Orthopaedics, how about them? When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about BetQL? Here's the way I could set it up for you. I got hit up over the weekend by my buddy Mikey. I've mentioned him on the show, Mike Donahue, and his buddy Matt Gallagher. They're putting together a bachelor party, right? And they were out and they were doing some betting and everything. They say, hey, Mark, what do you think of these bets? And I said, well, you hold on a minute. Let me type up a little bet action here on BetQL and see what way we should go. And BetQL is always the way to go when it comes to betting research. It's what you got to do for research. BetQL is the perfect app for all the research that you need to make for all your betting needs. Here's what you can do. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports and gives you the reasoning behind why you should place the bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player props, all that. And also, if you don't want to use their model, want to do your own research, BetQL has the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineup changes, injuries, breaking news, even a leaderboard. They have a leaderboard so you can track your success. Head to the App Store right now or Google Play Store to download the BetQL app. That's the BetQL app. So make sure you take advantage of all that they have to offer. Also want to tell you about Steak and Maine and steakandmaine.com. Friday, 2 days away, I'm going down. Steak and Maine, heart of Northeast Maryland. Voted number one place for steaks in America by the Travel Channel and the Cooking Channel. Whether you want to dine in their casual patio, their nice sports bar, their steakhouse, whatever it might be, or the party table in the back that, yes, whoosh, spins. That's right, it spins. Want to share the mashed potatoes? Whoosh. Let's give it a spin. Want to share some steak? Whoosh. Give it a spin. Sushi platter, whatever it might be, because they always have freshly prepared sushi at Steak and Maine. So when it comes to everything they have to offer, make sure you take advantage of everything at Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. Fresh cuts of meat, delicious tomahawk steak, awesome wine pairing with the Cavada Cellars wines. Oh, man, if you love a good wine pairing, then do what I do. Make sure you get the 2-pound tomahawk steak from Steak and Maine and wash it down with a nice Pinot Noir from Cavada Cellars wines. It is fantastic. Every single time, that is my go-to at Steak and Maine Friday. I'll be enjoying that yet again. A nice late lunch for me. Treat myself. Also, want to tell you about the great people of WinView. I don't need to tell you how important this series is right now going on in the baseball world in Philadelphia. Very much decide the season, and it will decide the season, especially if Phils go down the way that they're going right now. So if you want to make a more interesting bet, if you want to have some more fun, use the WinView app. You can play pregame contest where you answer questions before the game and play along live, unlike any other app out there right now. How about this? There's a progressive jackpot promotion above $3,000 with WinView. All you need to do is make 10 correct predictions in these Phillies-Braves games going on right now in pregame, and you can win a share of that jackpot. It isn't daily fantasy. It isn't a sports book. Just questions about the Phils. Get the app now. Go to winview.tv/Farzy. That's winview.tv/Farzy and have yourself a good time with the WinView app. Also want to tell you about our good friends at PHL Sports Nation. That's Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. Follow all the stories going on right now with PHLSportsNation.com. Now let's go into our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. Hello, everybody, and good morning. Thanks for following the show. As always, I much appreciate it. Dan, good morning, everyone. Congratulations. We did it. We reached the peak of Crap Mountain in Philadelphia sports. Ton of effort put into that, and how bad this is. You're not kidding. Mally, good morning. This year is no different than any other year in Philly sports. April morning, finally we get Trey, Marc, and Trey having flashbacks. One thing I failed to bring up with Trey was just some of our favorite moments from doing the show together. And I would say when we did the KY catch, the KY jelly catching contest, hey, you're not going to believe it. The Eagles were having trouble catching the football. Eagles wide receivers were. Remember that? Which time, right? And we decided, you know what? People with KY jelly on their hands could catch better. I think maybe even a caller might have suggested it or brought that up. So we said, let's get a contest going. So one of the most random things, I think it was later that day, we're in a meeting, and one of our salespeople, I won't say the sponsor because maybe they're not proud of it, but it got a lot of run. But the sponsor came up with, hey, so-and-so came up with $10,000. We got to find a way to give it away. And we were like, huh? So we put this contest together where you could win, I believe it was 10 grand. And then before we went on the air with 10 grand as a prize, they're like, oh, actually, they're only going to do $1,000 in game tickets. Eagles, I believe it was Eagles Seahawks tickets. And we're like, okay, I think that still works. $1,000, try to catch a ball with KY jelly on your hands? Sure. So we went to Xfinity Live. We had like 20 people line up to try to catch a football while their hands were doused in KY jelly. It was like the scene in Old School. I remember the day before the contest where they came up to Luke Wilson and they said, Godfather, we were only able to find the small tubes of KY jelly. We couldn't find a whole vat of KY jelly. And we were like, okay, well, I guess we just got to go with the small tubes of KY jelly. And anyway, Trey and I did the play-by-play and the color analyst, if you will, of that event. And it was a fine event. We did the event. The guy won tickets. I think he won $1,000. And then later came to Grand Cafe L'Aquila with us because we had a big dinner with some of our listeners and the show. And that guy showed up. And I was like, oh, hey, the KY guy. And let me tell you, that's a bit of a showstopper at a restaurant. I'm sorry, what was that? When you yell that across a restaurant. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. And then it was just fun hanging out with him every morning. He's just a great guy. Let's see. T-Bro, I'm just going to put all the sports in a trash bag, put it in the attic with my 3 Carson Wentz jerseys and my Ben Simmons jersey. Yeah, you know what? Bury it in the backyard. Just when I didn't think, this is T-Bro again, just when I didn't think it could get any worse, Abs Farzy totally redeems Philly sports with a mofo trade day. Yeah, you're damn right. With the trade day. We did have a trade day today. Let's see. Let's look. Bleak ever results are, yeah, bleak. No, Dan, it's been terrible. There's no doubt how bad Philadelphia sports been. Mally, Phillies with runners in scoring position is so amazing. It is awful. T-Bro, very famous trade line. # your balls will thank you. What's up, Manscaped? Philly sports needs Blue Chew. Oh my God. I'm going to clip this and send this to Trey. He'll love that you guys are referencing his old commercials. Now April Philly sports shot their, all right, Mally. I almost read that out loud. I don't know what the kids are in the living room when you guys have this on the TV or whatever, or in the car on the way to school. I don't know. Die before Christ. No, that's true. They will die before they cave to the run. Dan, you're not wrong at all. Why did we get a free Wawa coffee today? I don't know. Wow, you know what? I can't even remember the last time I was at a Wawa. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Let's see. Mally, care less about Simmons or what he does. You're not far off. Thomas, just Trey. I love that. Mally, it's very nice of you. That was a fun morning show. April, you're too kind. That's why I appreciate you guys coming over to do this. Larry, best show. That was. Hey, look, we took over. I had never hosted a show. I never had my own show. I fill it in, did plenty of shows at WIP while I was there, but I never it was never like the Marc Farzy. I never had my own show. Certainly filled in for Angelo a bunch of times, but I got offered the job at NBC, took the job at NBC with Amy. got the offer from the Fanatic, and how do I say no to that? And go over there, and our program director at the time, Eric Johnson, great guy. We were doing exactly what we said we would do. We were building the show. We were doing great and finished third a couple of times, which hadn't really happened in that show's time slot at that station. And that was like Preston, Steve, Angelo, us. Like Preston and Steve are just like, it's another stratosphere in the ratings book. Like it's just amazing. And then Angelo, obviously, and then us. Like that was how it was for a long time. And then pandemic hit, Trey got let go. Well, first off, they fired our boss that hired us, which is never good. Then Trey got let go, and then I got let go, like a couple months, or maybe it was December. I think Trey was March, I was December, and it was a new program director took over, and then I got let go a couple months after that. And I just looked back on it, and I was like, I got no regrets. Like I did what I was supposed to do. We had success while we were doing the show. We were building it. They told us throughout the entire process it was going to take time, so you thought you had that understanding. And not so much, but such is life. And I'm having the most fun now that I have had in a long time. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, that was a lot of fun show. I appreciate all the support that you guys gave us. Beautiful. Thank you very much. The congrats. Here's the congratulations for having a kid. By the way, Jamie Lynch and I are still really good friends. Actually, we played golf not that long ago, and we still keep in touch. So that I just don't think, I don't think his current. I don't think that'd be smiled upon by his current work environment or work environment. What am I saying? By where he works. Let's see. Yes, Lil Toots April is ready to do a show. We like to say in my families, in my dad's side of the family, the Italians, and my mom's side of the family, the Polish people. It's funny. The Polish people, we fight over the microphone. Like we are all performers on that side of the family. It's no joke. Like it's just unreal. When it's like when my grandparents were alive and again, they were married 74 years and it came time for toasts at a dinner. It was like, all right, you better block off an hour because Uncle Albin's going to get up. Then my mom's going to get up. Then my cousin Jess is going to sing a song. Then my cousin Doug is going to get up and say something beautiful. My cousin Will's going to say something nice. I'm going to get up. I'm going to probably have to sing and talk. And then we're all going to be around, talking for an hour. So we always fought over the microphone. It was always a family get together with a talent show. Like that's pretty much what it was like. The Italian side of the family, a little bit more to ourselves. No witnesses. But my cousin Steve is a showman. I will say that. My cousin Steve is a showman. Steve Farzetta. Shout out to my cousin. But yeah, there you go. Dan, thank you very much. You're the man, Mark. Congratulations. You and your family. Take care of the wife is the top priority right now. You're absolutely right. My wife is the top priority right now, which is why when she requests her little dosage of caffeine that she can have while pregnant, I go ahead and whip that right up for her. That's right. And when she's sitting on the sofa, guess who's not getting up? That's right. My lady, my wife, my beautiful wife. She's not getting up. I run and get everything. Sean, thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate it. Julian, appreciate you guys. You guys should get a dog too. Julian, that ain't happening, brother. Like I love dogs. We were just taking care of my buddy's dog. They just had a kid, so they needed some help. So yeah, we're happy to do it. And I love the dog. Dog's awesome. But like dogs in small doses. Like I can watch a dog for a month, no problem. But like owning a dog, forget about it. I love dogs too much to realize that I should have one. Yeah. Ray, let your son pick out his own teams because who knows how Philadelphia will be in the future. Like, here's the thing. I can't have a kid that's rooting for some other team. Like, look, that's even if the kid likes sports. I don't even know. Farzy getting frisky. Very nice, Mac. Yes. You're welcome. One of my favorite things is when people are like, oh, you're having a kid. Hey, congrats on the sex. I'm just like, yeah, high five. If your birthday is sometime during last week, if your birthday is April, if your birthday is sometime during the last week of January, you know how your parents celebrated Cinco de Mayo. I'm just saying yeah. All right. April, you're not far off. Oh, Ray, your birthday's also late January. Okay. Larry's just giving me the applause. Thank you so much. Rick saying congrats. Thank you. Oh, Inside the Birds. Loved having Trey with you he was great with you guys last year. Humble Philly Bull. Fans need to boycott the Eagles for better change. This is completely ridiculous. Lurie needs to stay out of football operations and do away with football analytics. It's crap. Shake my head. I agree. Also, what's the part ways with Howie Roseman? 2 pound would feel like a bit much. No, you got to go with the 2 pound steak. Don Vito, the new show. All right. I'm not even going to go there. Once you get a lot of, all right. Oh, Dan, I will get Harry. I was actually just on with Harry Mays a couple of weeks ago to preview the postgame show I do with Derek Gunn and Devin Caney. But we'll get Harry on the show. I promise you. Thanks everyone that commented. A social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, Morning Rush. Morning Rush segment today is all about the Phillies. Aaron Nola gets the ball today, 7:20 start time. It's over for them. But we'll see if they go down swinging at least. We'll see how Aaron Nola pitches in the month of September for his last start of the season. So cross our fingers for that. We'll see how that goes. Appreciate you guys. Oh, did they delete Luigi? They deleted Luigi's quotes. Luigi, I'm sure it was about a weather girl. I'm still working on it. Well, so I had one more thing I wanted to get into here. Oh, no, I hit it earlier. The Ben Simmons story about how he doesn't want to play with Joel Embiid. That's the big message to everybody else across the league. Hey, he's not changing his game. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. By the way, our Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Once again, thanks to my good friend Trey Thomas, and thank you guys for all the congrats for my wife and I expecting our second kid in January. Appreciate it. Really means a lot. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Jim Hyde produced the program. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Be back with you guys tomorrow morning, same time, 6 a.m. Make sure you hit subscribe on the YouTube channel as well. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.